Mattress Mack, McIngvale. Can I call you Mac?
Sure.
It's a little shorter.
Absolutely.
It's a little shorter so that way I'll be able to, my English, nobody good looking like our Celia Cruz used to say. So I always try to make that joke since, I'm Cuban. She's Cuban. She always used to say that. So tell us a little bit about yourself, about your origins of where you come from. And
Well, I grew up in Dallas. Went to school at the University of Texas. And then I moved to Houston in 1981. My wife and I did. With $5,000, started Gallery Furniture right here on the side of the freeway. And we're still here 40 years later because of our great customers and the wonderful community.
Awesome. Now, I read around there that your wife, Linda, right? She put a condition, only one condition for her to move down here to Houston. What was that?
I kept asking her to move down here and get in the business with me. She said, "You've got to marry me first." And I said, "Oh, my goodness." And I thought to myself, where else can I get an employee this cheap? So here we are. 40 years later.
I would love to maybe meet her a little later. But that's great. She's a very smart woman. I mean, I just got married last week. See?
Congratulations.
After a lot of years. But that's another story. Now, how does a gallery furniture start?
How we started? We started with $5,000 in a dream. We started by doing same-day delivery in the furniture business. We started by taking care of our customers. And we're still doing the exact same thing, only on a bigger scale 40 years later. Nothing's changed.
Perfect. And the way you're doing it is awesome because it keeps working and keeps doing it and you keep helping the community with everything you're doing. So now, what motivates you to help the Hispanic community, the Latin community, the community in general? But I'm just going to talk in this case for the Latin community.
Well, obviously what motivates me is to help all human beings. We all have a responsibility for the well-being of our community. And of course, in Houston, the Hispanic community is a huge part of our population. We've got a lot of great Hispanic team members here, and we've been helping the community, be it whatever nationality they are, since 1981. That's the way I was brought up in the Catholic Church, was better to give than receive, and I continue to do that, and I hopefully do that to the end of my life.
That is awesome. It's always good to hear that a hero like you in Houston, in our area, say something like this for our community. Now, you opening your doors. You shop every time there is a different catastrophe that we have in Houston. How that make you the most beloved businessman in Houston and the whole country? So now, how do you feel about that?
Well, I feel like I hope I don't have to do that anymore because we've
Yes.
had enough disasters in Houston, from floods to hurricanes to ice storms, and we weren't ready for any of them. But, again, we have a responsibility for well-being of the community. If there's a natural disaster or crisis, we're going to open our doors, let people come here and eat, sleep, warm up, and that's who we are. We have a responsibility for well-being of the community. All of our team members take that responsibility very seriously, and when the next crisis happens, we're going to be here.
Awesome. That is awesome. You hear that? This Mattress Mack, right here in Houston. Right now, we're in the location of 45, but they also have one in Katy, which is beautiful as well. That's something that we have to talk about that later to do some events or something there. But I have another question for you. This one is just specifically for our immigrants. How do you think would be a fair way to help millions of immigrants that live in our country?
Well, I think a fair way to help all the people who live in this country is to realize that if you have a pulse, you have a purpose. Let's get people jobs, and let's let them progress in the job and become a better family member, a better churchgoer, a better taxpayer, and a better citizen. So I think, to me, work is life's greatest therapy. The way to help immigrants, the way to help all people in this country is get them a job they love to do and they never have to work a day in their life. Again, I believe that work is life's greatest therapy, and that if you have a pulse, you have a purpose. Work gives you purpose and meaning to get up in the morning, get dressed, and go to your job. We all spend more time at work than we do at home, and finding that job you love to do and make a difference in this world, that to me is the purpose of all of us.
You hear this? This is awesome, people. This is something that we have to take this as this business owner, as a businessman in Houston area, Houston community, that he inspired all of us, specifically us that come from our country. Now, let me ask you 3 quick questions. 1, do you like Latin food?
I do. I love it.
Which one is your favorite?
Which one is my favorite? Tacos and enchiladas.
Okay, that's easy. Do you like the Latin community?
Love it.
Okay, and what do you like the most?
I like the friendliness of the people. I like the richness of the culture, the language, the food. All the beautiful women, but I'm married, so lots of reasons to like the Latin community.
That's awesome. Now, this one is an easy question. Astros or Texans?
Astros. Astros.
Yeah.
I like Jose Altuve, Carlos Carrera. I like the Texans too, but let's face it, the Astros are a great team. They've done a lot for our city over the last several years.
That is awesome. Well, and now we are, first, we're going to thank you for being here with us. And I'm going to do 2 extra questions. That one is just for our magazine and for our community because we like to help entrepreneurs. And that's the main thing that we do in our magazine. What do you think about advertising?
Here's my motto: late to bed, early to rise, work like hell, and advertise in Hola magazine.
You heard that? You have to do that. You have to advertise in Hola tu revista, which means Hola magazine.
Business, you got to advertise. There's no question about it.
Perfect. And based on your experience, what do you recommend Latinos, the new entrepreneur, to succeed?
Again, find something you really like and dedicate your life to it. You know, so many people want to work 40 hours a week. As an entrepreneur, that's not going to work. You got to dedicate your life to it. And your spouse, be it your husband or your wife, has to be 100% behind you in this effort, because you can't go fight the battle all day at work, free enterprise battle, and go home and fight a battle of family saying, well, you work too much. They got to support you. My wife, my children always supported me in my work. They never complained about me working too many hours because they knew I was trying to build something for them, for our team members, for the community. So you got to have a support group, and then you got to find something you dearly love to do, and you'll be successful.
Thank you very much for those words. Thank you very much for everybody to be here watching with us. Thank you for your words, and I'm sure we'll take that as a very good advice.
Late to bed, early to rise, work like hell, and advertise.
¡Eso! Thank you very much. Gracias, muchas gracias por estar aquí y bueno, nos vemos pronto.